Okay, so hello, Money Magicians. Welcome to yet another Money Magic podcast episode. My guest for today is Coach G Phalane. You guys probably have seen me talk about her if you're on my mailing list. I say actually today you're watching this a few weeks after I sent out an email about her book club on my email list on the same day, right before I'm doing this interview with her. But she and her book club have been reading my book, What's Your Money Personality? Changing the Way Black Families Manage Their Finances, for the month of February and March. Yes, sorry, for the month of January 2024 and February 2024. Excuse me, guys. So I thought, let me interview her because her story is also very fascinating, right? So her husband is a money magic student. That's how I get to know her, and she got to know about me. And not only that, but when I saw that she had left her job and was now a full-time coach and running this book club full-time, you know me, I'm all about people who do things with their money and transition to entrepreneurship, doing the things that they love, the things that they feel called to do. And I was like, we need to have an interview. We need to chat. And here she is. She said yes. So welcome, Coach G.
Thank you so much, Vangile. You know, it's been a dream, and I'm glad that my dream came true. Eventually, I'm interviewed by you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad that you came through. So, this question that we ask everyone on this podcast is, firstly, how do you define yourself? If someone had to ask, who are you, apart from what you do, how do you define yourself as a soul?
Wow, what a question. You know, I remember being asked this question and I'm like, what? Because we normally define ourselves about our role. You know, once they say, what's your name? Who are you? It's like, I'm a coach, I'm a mindset shift, book club owner, and. So, yeah, I'm just a free-spirited soul, V, and I'm here to serve. I'm the person who's on this planet to come and serve the assignment that I've been trusted with, you know. And yeah, I'm just here to follow the steps and the guidelines that are provided by me from the higher power. Mm-hmm. So as that unfolds, then that's when now I started to put titles on it. But if you can ask me, I'm just that soul that really wants to live out their purpose and actually understand my assignment.
Okay, I love that. Just off the back of that, what do you think your assignment is?
Oh, good. My assignment, I believe, is I believe I have a few of them. The main one, however, I believe is to make people realize why they are here, why they are born, you know, what are their assignments. So I believe I'm called to do that. And I'm saying this because every time I hear a person say, I hate what I'm doing, I feel like I need to step in. You know, if I hear someone says, I'm struggling with this, you know, because I know what God has instilled in us is not supposed to come with difficulty. So for me, it means this person doesn't really know, or they've forgotten because society has said you can't be doing this is a hobby, you can't be, you know, this won't make money for you, and then we forget along the way. I strongly believe that it's not like we don't know who we are, but we forget along the way because we've been told that you can't be doing this. So I believe I'm called for that, and in doing that, clearly I'm called then to make people realize that you are not living in your purpose because of you were told this, these are the blocks, these are the limiting beliefs, you know. We first need to remove this so that you can now remember that, oh, by the age of 3, I used to do this and it was so good. By the age of 4, you know, hence I title myself a life purpose coach because, yeah, I believe that for me, anything to do with purpose, you can find your purpose in your pain, you can find your purpose in your journey, in traveling and all that. So it's just a question of removing those blocks and removing those limitations. And then we remember, we don't necessarily find, I believe we remember who we are. So I believe that's my assignment.
Oh, I love that. We remember who we are.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because we have forgotten and believed and buried that to say, I'm not this, because society said, no, this is not going to work. I can't make a living out of baking. I can't make a living out of teaching. Teachers don't get paid enough. So let me rather go and hustle in the engineering side. And then we get so much exhaustion and get burned out, you know, and all that. So I believe, I strongly believe that, because every time, even if when I talk to teenagers or matriculants, that's the first thing that high schoolers, even grade 10s, when they're about to choose their subjects. For me, it's not about which subjects are going to afford you chances of getting employment. For me, it's like which subjects are aligned with where you are going or with who you are. So for me, that's, if it's history and it's maths lit, let it be. Why no? Why push them to do maths and science while they are called in the space where history and maths lit is going to be what's going to assist them?
Wow. So that is so fascinating. So
Yes.
deeply fascinating. So how did you come to do this work? I find that like as healers, the work that we it's because we have experienced some kind of pain and angst in that area. How did you come to do this work of helping people remember who they are?
Oh, okay. Good question, Evie. You know, with me, I grew up with a very low self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself. I would always seek validation. I would say yes, knowing deep down that I want to say no, and then I'll go in my corner and start to cry, you know. And it even went to me going the engineering IT route, because I've experienced a lot of parental wounds. As a result, I wanted a career that will afford me an opportunity to get employment. And indeed, I didn't struggle, but it was heavy, you know. I got employment after my graduation, and then I managed to support my parents and all that. But it was a hustle. Like every morning, I had to drag myself to go to work. And then during lunchtime at work, that's when now the real me will pop, because now this is my time and people will come to my office and I will find myself helping them. You know, I had people who used to come to work just so that they can have 1 hour with me.
Oh, wow.
So that we can talk and all that. So, and until 2015,
Yeah.
that's when now I lost my child. And he died while I was holding him, right? So there was too much pain. I started to go for counseling and I was admitted at the mental hospital and all that. And I remember when I was in hospital, it's like I was hearing his voice. I saw him actually, you know. I was in the shower and I was crying. I will shower 4 times a day because when you are in the shower, it's water all over. So people won't ask me, why are you crying? They will just assume that you've been taking a shower. And then it's like I saw this beautiful soul. I saw him wearing a white shirt. I remember very well. And he said to me, you know what, Mom? I came in this earth for a reason. and for a mission, and the mission is completed. And my reason was so that you can remember who you are and go touch the world with my story. I'm like, what? I quickly switched off the tap. I'm like, Pino, where are you? What's happening? I started to have a different cry. I started to cry differently, like with a sense of relief. But, I'm like, I knew then from that day that I had now to embark on a journey of self-discovery. And I have been that time, but it was not, I think I was doing things from the surface, right? And then I started with, because I love I love studying a lot, because my mom once told us that this thing of selling is not working. My mom made clothes, curtains, and all that, but she believed that that was not cool. So she kind of forced us to go to school. And then the first thing that came to my mind, what cause is in alignment with me helping people? And then came psychology. And then I went, studied my psychology, completed my degree. I did my honors, but as I was busy with my honors, then I started with coaching. I went and did training for life coaching. And then that's when now I started to help people part-time. So I will go to work from 7:30 until 4. After 4, that's when I will start feeling like now I'm leaving the entire 8 hours. It will be like I'm pressed, too much tension and all that. But once it says 4 o'clock, it's like my day has now, began. That's when now I'll start think about my coaching work, go through personal development books and healing books, try to be creative, write my book. And so basically that's how I came about, and that's how I realized, because I've been in IT for more than 2 decades, you can imagine. And to me, I'm like, I know everything happens for a reason, but sometimes I feel like, why didn't at least I started this after 10 years earlier and all that? But yeah, so I feel I'm called to help people who went through what I went through, and who are still in the dark, thinking that they are being punished because of what they went through. I mean, like I mentioned, I lost a child, and he died on my in my hand, and I just saw the foam coming out. That was way too traumatic.
That is very traumatic, sis.
That was way too traumatic. But after that voice, I knew, I'm at a point whereby I miss him. There's no way that I won't miss him. However, I'm embracing, hence the name of my book is Embrace Your Wounds and Realize Your Purpose, because it's through that big wound where I managed to now get the person I am today, So, and then, it took time for me to let go of my employment. I don't know if you're going to go through that question, or should I just continue from there?
Yeah, please continue.
So, then I started coaching after working hours and during weekends. I have a book club, and I called it Mindset Shift Book Club and Healing Program. And even the healing part came later, because I knew that I was healing people, but that little self-esteem tendencies or feelings, I think it was still there. So I was not confident enough to say healer, but I'm like, everyone who's giving me feedback is like, Coach, you are healing me. Coach, just by talking to me, and then I added that element, and then I started now this book club while I was still employed. This is the 4th year now. And every month I will teach books. I remember the first 4 months, I used too much of my logic to say, which book am I going to pick? Oh, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, until now, the 5th book, which was the 5th month, I just started to flow. Like, for an example, there was a point where there was too much procrastination in my group. I could sense that people are procrastinating, people are dragging their feet, and I kind of heard a voice, or there's less weight in the spirit. So I don't even know how to mention that, but I knew that I needed to teach a book about procrastination. And I now came across Neil Forest's book, the Now Habit. It unpacks procrastination from, us healing those wounds around procrastination and all that. So I don't stress anymore about what is next, because I know definitely I'll be guided, And then that book club ran, and then while I was still employed, after four, that's when I was starting to prepare for my book club sessions and all that. And then last year, 2023, December, I handed in my resignation.
Wow.
Because another thing, in terms of my psychological counseling studies, I've been applying for my master's and BPsych, because both these qualifications, they're going to afford me an opportunity to open a practice as a psychological counselor or as a psychologist. So depending whether I get accepted on the BPsych side or the master's side. So, and then I went for an interview at SACAP. It was almost 1,000 students, and they only needed 15.
Wow.
And I made it to the top 15 rather, and I got accepted. And then I knew there and there that I'm going to resign. I don't have the earthly plan in place. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't have, and I'm okay. If I can tell you, V, one of the things that we had to let go temporarily was this medical aid, because my company used to subsidize us a lot. So I was paying close to nothing. But because this is huge, and I thank God that I have a supportive family, I'm like, you know what, we're going to continue without medical aid, and we'll see what will happen.
Yeah.
Because now if we have to carry those costs 100% for now, it looks, it's not practical, Yeah. So this is my almost second month now. Yeah, my second month without employment, and second month me waking up every day and doing what I love. And I realized the power of letting go. I've realized, I saw the law of vacuum in place, because once you start to make space, things start to flow in. I know I journal a lot. I will write my desires down and say, I'm grateful for this and that. I've been wanting to get multiple radio interviews. I can tell you now, since I have resigned, every week I am called. I was in Mutwedi. Every week I am called, and you look at the time, it's either 1:15 or 20 to 11. I was not going to be able to do that during working hours. You get what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward. I'm excited, and I just want to see what's going to unfold. And I eventually managed to formally register my company, which is now called Mindset Healing Academy. I couldn't do that while I was still employed. So under Mindset Healing Academy, this is now this Mindset Shift Book Club and Healing Program. And I also have what I call heart-to-heart conversations with Coach G, where those are face-to-face events. And I do those events as well. And I also have my one-on-one coaching sessions, and I'm busy with my parenting book that has been on hold for some time because I didn't have capacity. So it's quite exciting.
Oh, I love it. I'm sure someone is listening to this and they like, there's no way that I can just take the leap because I have house bills, I've got car bills, I've got all that. I'm sure you didn't just go straight into leaving your job because you've got kids. I mean, I'm no,
of course,
like dumping it all, moving countries, etc. But like I don't have kids, right? And that has made certain things a little easier. And this has been my lifestyle for years. So I wanted to know, what mental preparation did you have? How did you approach the conversation with your spouse and with your kids to say, we're going to be leaving? And did you guys write down a budget? Now there will be no money coming in from this. What adjustments did you have to make for someone who's like at the end of their rope and they're like, I am ready to leave and do something else?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this very important question with me. And I love the fact that you mentioned the mental preparation there, you know. I would say, like I mentioned, that I've been in this journey for quite some time, and I've been in my book club for some time now. So as I teach these members, I'm also learning. I'm also, you know, teachers benefit a lot because you have to go and research. You can't just go teach Vangile's books and a book rather, and just read a paragraph and leave it there. You need to unpack, you know, you need to come up with, you know, better ways for people to understand. And as I was doing that, you know, and encouraging my clients and members to go do the work, I'll do the work with them. So I have been preparing myself, you know, and I saw that when I started again to do my book club, because my employment didn't really allow such things to have, they call it side hustle or whatever. I don't love that word. But I managed to push through in the midst of that, and I saw how I was supported. You know, the universe really got my back. Nothing came out of that. So mentally, I've been prepared, and the nice thing is, I have 3 kids. My first daughter is our first daughter is 17, turning 18. The second one, 14, and we have the little one who's turning 5. And the one who passed on was gonna turn 8 now. So at least I have these 2 girls now, the big sisters of the house. Now the nice thing is they follow my teachings. I remember I was teaching this book by Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I made sure that they join the group. And yeah, I told them, I didn't necessarily make sure, but I made them aware to see this book talks about this. And like, you know what, Mama, sometimes I have fear when it comes to my studies, you know, I think this will help. And then they joined, they attended the sessions and all that. And in the beginning of this, you mentioned that your husband, I mean, my husband, now I am giving over my husband. You mentioned that my husband is your client. So he is been on this journey of, you know, mentally as a family, we were prepared. However, we were scared, to be honest. We were scared. Like I said, we had to sit down after now me taking the decision to start over. And the nice thing is they've seen me suffering throughout my employment. They've seen me sort of shifting or changing when I do my work. And they're like, we want this mother. You know, my husband will like, I want this wife. I want this bubbly wife. You know, I will turn from being dark during the week to glowing over the weekend to show that what I'm doing, you know, is really what I'm called for. So we sat down as a family and then we checked to say, guys, we have houses that we're still paying. Cool, you are still, you know, at school. Often they will be going to university next year. And the truth is my salary is making a difference. Daddy's salary together with mine. So his salary alone won't really, you know. And then we started now to go to my business side and check mainly the book club, because that's the most consistent thing that's been happening, because I was teaching over, after working hours. So at least there was a consistent income. And then we checked, and that's when I realized to say, even from my business, we can still be able to live almost the same life. And again, we looked at the fact that after 18 months, I will now have my counseling practice, and I'm going to incorporate counseling with coaching, you know. And I remember emphasizing this when I was teaching chapter 2 of your book, Trauma, where you mentioned that sometimes we are told to think positively, to use affirmations and all that. yet we are not told to face trauma and deal with trauma, because we need to deal with the psychological aspects and all that. And that's where I told members, I'm like, you know what? I love this because my psychological counseling work together with coaching, they're gonna bring about this, what Vangile is talking about. So yeah, so we spoke, and comfort again came from the fact that after 18 months, for sure, I'm going to open my practice as a counselor.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so we planned it out nicely. But the most important thing that I will tell you, Vangile, is the mental work, and, you know, all the letting go that we've been doing as a family, you know, involving them in my teachings. I taught soul to soul parenting book. I remember practically doing that with my kids and my husband and all that. So they kind of understand that other things, we just need to let them go so that we can make space for what we love. And I'm blessed to have a husband who's a personal development junkie, if I may call him like that, because really it was easy. It was so literally, this is the first month without me getting paid.
Yeah.
The end of June. Yeah.
Yes.
So February will, yeah. So yeah, that's that. Mainly is the work that we've been doing on ourselves. You know, I was looking at my 4-year-old. I took him a video of him doing meditation. I'm like, what are you doing, baby? And then he was like, I'm meditation. He didn't even say it right. So it's sort of monkey see, monkey do type of vibe, you know. So we are that family. But yeah, like you said, financially, yes, we still have those, you know, moments, but the joy is bigger than the fear, honestly.
Yeah.
We all feel that what is coming is bigger than what we are going through now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And also, your husband is in the Money Magic course where he's taught how to work with the fear and all that around money, which is really, really nice, you know, that most men are very, very scared to go into the trauma,
Yes.
sit with it, to be in it, to do the meditations. But this is so, so powerful what you said. Like, I loved what you said about your husband and your kids saying, we want that mom, we want that wife.
Yes. Yes.
Because they see your joy, they see you coming alive. And
Yes.
that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about. I think that we talk a lot about the fear. One of the things that you mentioned was the school thing, right? How we force kids to take math, fear, physics, chemistry, all that, even though it doesn't make them come alive. And I want to ask you, what difference have you seen when it comes to building your business and you're doing something that brings you joy as opposed to the thing you need to do? So, side note, I was sharing with Coach G how in 2022, I was very highly criticized for how I work, which has become quite a big thing. People that know me in my personal life and have observed me, I have no schedule. I don't have a wake up time. I don't believe in working with an alarm. I believe in getting to yoga, drinking tea, my water baths, watching sunsets, and somehow working around that. And in 2023, I changed all that about myself. Everything so much about how I work, and I have seen how it has affected my finances, how I market, like how I do things change so dramatically. And I've had like a long sit with myself in Vipassana in December, where I could see why how that has completely affected my life. So, and it has affected my finances, the way that I feel about my business, just because for me, it's about more than just my business. The reason why I have my business is so that it can allow me to be me and allow me to work in a particular manner and how I flow and how I do my life, you know? So I wanted to know how for you, you've noticed the importance of, I guess, having passion and loving what you do, how it has changed the way you make money, how money flows into your life, all of that?
That's a very beautiful question. I'm even getting goosebumps because one thing that I've realized is that there's this saying, because I teach a whole lot of books, I don't even sometimes remember who quoted that, but it talks about the fact that creativity thrives in joy, right? The only time that you'll be able to be creative, that's when you are in a joyful state, right? And I've been struggling. I will have ideas when I was still working, when I was still employed, but I will have difficulties to implement those ideas, right? Because I was not creative. I only got to be creative after, when I don't have this corporate schedule, right? So now that I am this side and I think of something and I literally stop if maybe I'm driving, so that I can note that, or so that I can voice record that, and I go and implement. Because I've done and I'm still doing a whole lot of work, I kind of mastering not to be attached to the outcome. The truth is I am not where I want to be as yet, but I am way far from where I was before. The journey is still, so doing what I love, it comes with the fact that I am creative. I get to be creative. I mean, who have thought that I can make a business from teaching people books? Because they can just go buy those books and read themselves. As easy as that,
Yeah.
I have people who saw me when I was advertising what's your money personality, and they went and bought the book. Well, I won't say behind my back, but as in not acknowledging that maybe they were inspired by me. In fact, they came to say, we feel like we need to do this with you, so it's and I believe it's that energy of being in your purpose. You become creative and you start to kind of call people who are planted in your journey, because like I said, the more you are in your purpose, the more you do what you love, we get better ideas and ideas that are expanding our businesses. But in most cases, we sabotage ourselves by overthinking those ideas. But what if, will this work? Oh, no, this is similar to Vangile's work. It won't work, So at least I am kind of getting better in terms of the idea came and it came for a reason and I'm going to implement it, So yeah, I'm glad I'm in that space. I'm looking forward to even grow more in that space of getting inspired thought and follow with inspired actions, and let go of perfectionism. That's another thing that really kept me for a very long time. I mentioned that I grew up with a very low self-esteem. I was told that my English was horrible. I mean, I went to a vernacular school. And so, and to me, speaking was supposed to have a nice English. Growing up, I used to believe that. So that kept me, on hold for a very long time. But until I reached the time that, I'm going to do it messy. I'm going to do it scared. I'm not going to wait for perfect circumstances. So that is really affecting my business positively. And I see how this year again, I managed to attract this other mentor who is assisting me to not build my business, but to brand it, to do. So it's a package, because I struggle a lot with admin, I must admit. So I found myself attracting that person, and like from logo to the website to, everything is, and this is exactly what I prayed for. Yeah. So, and I want to believe that came because of me being in this creative space, which is in my calling, Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that so much. I have found that when you're in that space where you are being true to you, a lot of things get called to you with such ease, right?
Mm.
But
Mm.
you've talked about the book already a few times. People dying to talk about it. Um, so guys, this is my book. What's your money personality? I wanted to talk to you about this book actually and say,
Mm.
why did you choose this book to be part of your book club? I mean, I just woke up one day and there was a flyer and I was tagged on it. I was like, I didn't even know that you were Danny, right? Like, I was just like, what? Like, who is this person? I was like, oh my God, this book has been chosen for a book club. And I just messaged you, you would think I would know this. I only figured this out at the end of December that you were his wife. Like I had no clue. I think I saw on his post he was tagging you and he was sharing the flyer. And then it was like ding, 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 ding. But until then, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And of course, I then started sharing about the book club as well.
Mm.
Super excited, but I had no clue, and I still don't know why you chose the book to be part of your book club. I didn't ask questions. I just went with it.
You know, it's amazing. It's so amazing. You know what I do in my book club, ne? I will I will read a book first. I will know maybe 2 months before that chances are we're going to read book A or book B or book C. And then closer to the time, 2 weeks before we start with the new book, then I will feel that, okay, we need to choose this one. So normally I don't choose new books. Ne? Then I saw your book, and because your book is like new, I'm
It's
choosing
still very new, 3 months old.
exactly. Your book is new, new, new. So I see this book. I just saw the name, and I just had some sensation, and I'm like, and it looks big, and I don't like to. I'm a quality girl, man. I want to give my best. And that wanted to kind of stop. And I didn't know the size as yet, but I could see that no, as you were busy talking about your book. And then I knew in my spirit that I need to teach this book. This book is actually nice again to start the year, you know? Then I went to one of the exclusive books. I bought your book. I knew at the time, right? And then I saw one of my client status talking about the fact that they attended your book launch. And there and there, I knew that it's a sign. I knew, you know? And that's when I started I announced in November. Imagine your book, we read it in January. But November already, I announced in the group. And I don't normally do that. I announced 2 weeks before because I don't want to find myself with a flyer that I need to amend. But with your book, I knew in November already. I was drinking my coffee and I texted them, beautiful souls, we are going to read this book, Jan and Feb. And that's it. You know? And they were like, what's your money personality? I would love to know that. I'm like starting to buy the books now. Did they buy? Did they buy? And even that was a sign enough because sometimes they were like, coach, you will rely on your teachings. We know that you are a working library. You will explain what's happening now. Okay, you will explain thorough and all that. But with this one, I will see a picture in the group. I got my copy. And then the next morning, 2 pictures. I bought. And I was like, oh, thanks God for this message. So it's just, to me, I would say it was spiritual. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but it was.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm still getting goosebumps. It's like, no, man, this book has got something. And I remember saying to Danny, to my husband, I'm like, you know what? Remember at the time I was still employed. It was around November. right? I said to him, you know what, as much as this book is, I feel like my members need it, but this book is going to bring change in our family. Like it's for us. But I'm supposed to go and unpack it. I know each and every word, and I'm very good. I will tell you that chapter 2 is this. If you look at least the 4th page, they talk about, I'm like that, you know.
I don't
As
remember.
I was, you know, as I was going through the book, I would start to cry, and I cried because of the realization of how this book was going to impact members and, you know, everyone. I was not necessarily crying from oh yes, that really was aha moment, but I cried to say, oh God, like I can see you are answering my prayers, like you know, it was that, you know. And I saw even old members who were out of the group started to come back, you know. And it's a big book, but not difficult read. And I mean, you would expect people to. It's not a difficult read, but if you are not a person who's working on themselves, you might struggle because there are terms like parental wounds. You talk about archetypes, you know, and that really needs someone who be able to simplify it even further, you know. But people were like, Coach, we know you when it comes to teaching this book. So I'm like, no, I'm going for this book. It's clear. I'm not even going to look in the pool to check other books. This is it. And I'm going to teach it for a period of 2 months. And I remember as I was going through that as well, I'm like, normally I teach 1 book a month. And I'm like, no, my rules, this is my thing. And I'm going to put my rules. Today, they are thanking me, you know. On Tuesday, we did the Fixer Archetype, and that chapter is long and loaded, right? It's long, and I'm telling you, we didn't finish. I teach for 2 hours. We didn't finish. So I'm going to finish it off today and then start with the eternal child. That is not that long, so I'll manage to finish both of them. So I would say that was sent to me. I believe that your book was wrote for me. As you were going through that, God had me in your thoughts and in your, like, you have no idea. You have
Remember I told you that this book needed you? Because in December, my plan was to market the book for January and the start. And I told my publishers that came out of the Vipassana and I was done. Like I had faced my demons and I was flat out until mid-January because I was still processing. And I realized that everything happens for a reason because you were marketing it full on in December. And I was just like, wow, the universe knew that I would not have the capacity after writing to the Vipassana to actually do what I needed to do with marketing it. So you stepped in, and that's why I sent you the message to say this book needed you because, and it's like I get goosebumps because I realized that, and what I had said, I keep sharing this, that my only prayer for this book was, may it find its readers and may it find it, and its readers are finding it, hey? People are with it, talking about it, promoting it. Maybe because it's only now January when I feel after writing this book, after like it's going into its 4th month, where I'm like, I am ready to talk about the book because I realized that actually I didn't have to do the bulk of that work. The universe gave me people like you and gave the book its readers so that I could rest and chill until I feel like, wait, I can talk about the book. I can discuss the book in depth, you know? And that's what's so funny. So thank you, thank you, thank you for following your calling. Because imagine if you hadn't followed your calling and I had. Can you imagine?
I hear you 100. I even felt somehow when you mentioned in one of the posts to say, thanks for marketing the book. It didn't sit well with me for some reason because I was like, for me, it didn't feel like I didn't even see that angle, you know? So it's I was like, So Vangile is right. Actually, this got some element of marketing, but for me, it was like people come. I remember there was this short post that I did, quote from your
Yeah.
book, and it received more than 200 shares. That quote.
I remember that about my uncle leaving his job so that he could protect himself from the
I
family.
think so. Yeah, you saw it, ne?
Yes, and people were commenting so much on that post. I was still tired, by the way. I was still like reading, and I was like, "This is so fascinating. Thank God, I don't have to engage with it because you were fully engaging with it, and I was just like, I am just not able to. Not because I don't
Yeah.
book, but because, as you can imagine, when people talk about crying in the book, what this book took from me to write as well.
Mm.
And I had to honor, and I remember the past night just hearing honor the resting period, honor the resting period.
Ah.
And I had to, and honestly, it didn't take me long. Within a few days after the past night, I realized that I could honor it because I saw what you and some of the other people were doing with it, that it didn't need me at this point.
You did your part, and I'm glad that you allowed that rest, because even today, members are still asking me, Coach, thanking me, Coach, we really appreciate the fact that you managed to bring Vangile here. They don't even feel entitled, like they respect that. I'm like, I'm going to ask Vangile to come again in Feb. And really, my reason for inviting you is so that you can hear. I don't want you to dilute their feedback. you know, that's my main reason. My main reason, I always say you will hear stories, V, after someone passed on, beautiful stories to say, so and so wrote a book. This is how book changed my life. And but when people are alive, we don't do that. So maybe again, is the fixer in me? I don't know, but I felt like I want Vangile to hear this, and I'm blessed with members who are really engaging, and they are sharing. They are sharing. So honestly, that's my only reason. Whatever that you are giving there, it's a bonus. But my reason is just for you to come sit and say, okay, so that you can hear and have that on recording. So thank you so much for this, V. Thank you so much for this book, because again, another thing that I got an inspired thought as I was going through your book, to say, I don't know what exactly, but I know I need to create some mini course. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a session with V about this once it's clear. I want to finish, because I think it's like marketed. I don't love the word marketing, but whatever. Preach. Yeah,
Oh, we
maybe preach is
actually just
better.
talked about it. You're the second person to ask me if they can create a course from the book. And the first person I said no. But for you, like, yeah, no, it really resonates because you have done a lot with the book, right?
Mm.
So much with this book that I know this book is taking my work in different places, but I'm also just very chilled about it, which is
Mm.
my next question. I'm so excited. So you know your archetype is the fixer archetype. Say that the book you had a feeling that it would bring changes into your family. How have what insights and aha moments have you had as a fixer, and what changes do you see yourself making as a fixer archetype? Guys, you're gonna just have to get the book to figure out what the fixer archetype is.
It's amazing, because when I started reading the book in November, still going through it, and I saw the destroyer archetype, and that was before I reached the golden, the shadow and the golden side, before I reached there, and I'm like, oh, I see my first daughter here, the destroyer one.
Yeah.
But because it says destroyer,
Yeah.
it sounded a bit harsh at the time, until I passed that stage, and then I'm like, oh my goodness. So this is what this book did in my family. Like you will literally diagnose people after reading this book. I don't know if it's a diagnosis or what. So I managed to, it helped me a lot. That's why I feel like I need to do something, especially linking it to parenting, you know, as a mother with teenagers and a toddler. You see, I have too much info, but what I've been praying for, what I've been praying for is the structure. And I feel that what your money personality brought that structure in terms of, you know, that, you know. Now my 17-year daughter was turning 18 this year as a destroyer, right? And the second one is the sweet one. Now I have
oh my gosh, how's that relationship?
now, and I didn't have, you know, at least the destroyer, you know, it's more like I say, what I feel like saying and all that. So this one will sacrifice for us. Well, you know, I knew that this was not right. I had my ways of dealing with it, but I didn't have words, you know. I didn't have the vocab. I don't know. I didn't know how to package it. So like this book, you have no idea. I don't think you have an idea. So now what happened was, after now gaining all this info, we sat as the family discussing your book as the family, you know. And then I started to make them aware that, okay, we have these types of archetypes. They are going through it every now and then when they take break from their books, so they have an idea. So I'm like, and what I like, what Vangile is teaching in this book is that you don't have to let go of your archetype, but you don't have to operate on the shadow side of your archetype. That's where the danger is. So I remember my daughter saying, "Mommy, I'm a destroyer." No, I'm like, no, listen. Let me explain. Let me explain. And then I started to explain to her, even her sister, the sweet one, you know. And I remember telling her about the people-pleasing tendencies, to say, as the fixer and the sweet one, you know, we have those tendencies of people-pleasing and all that. And I'll make examples of her to say, remember that day when you were making coffee and you realized that it was the last coffee in the house, but you felt the need to take that coffee and gave it to your sister. Wow. And then you left without coffee. So I had those practical moments, and I could pin that to your book. That's why I'm saying you have no idea. You know, you have no idea what the book is doing to my family, you know. So, and myself as a fixer, and I remember asking you, sending you a voice note to say, I see a pinch of eternal shadow. Like, no, G, you are a fixer through and through, you know. You remember that? So now, as a fixer, I have learned again to allow help, you know, to be supported, you know, because what you said again made so much sense. Because as a fixer, because you are always fixing people, once you start to receive help, now you start to feel like you are overburdening people. But you are okay when people overburden you, but once you start giving them that burden, you start feel like, no, maybe no, this is not. And my mom was so happy to assist. She just left today. When we were talking earlier on, she was on her way, you know. So yeah, I'm living by what I'm reading in that book now. And what's more amazing, what's more amazing is your research is the vocab. I can say, oh, now this is this. I don't have to struggle when it comes to explaining, to say, no, Nana, you don't have to give people things if you don't feel like. You don't have to. But I didn't have, you know, now I have, you know, once you do this, it means this is what's happening. Yes, offense. It's okay to be a destroyer. However, once it gets to this stage, it means you are operating on the shadow side. And because I have very funny kids, you know, this house is just amazing. They will now start making jokes about this to say, that's the shadow side, you know. Come back to your golden side. Come back to your God. That is a bit shadowy, you know.
Yeah.
So basically that's that. Honestly, your book is, we thank God for you, and I'm glad you said yes to this book, and I'm glad you took your time, because that book really is big. Even the size, it's there. I just that I'm even the size. It's not the.
I will see with the research. 3 freaking years.
Imagine. And I remember, like I said, I'm busy with a parenting book. That's when I assist parents and teenagers and all that. I have been writing that book, but I was not doing a lot because of, like I said, I didn't have capacity. I'll be tired after work and all that. But I started it long time, and I remember saying, "No, man, this is too much." But after realizing that you wrote yours for almost 3 years, and I'm like, "No, there's nothing wrong. I've been gathering info."
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been gathering, I've been gathering. So I'll be able now to take my structure and slot everything where it's supposed to go. So thank you so much for this book. Like, thank you.
No, thank you so much. You amazing. And then my second last question before I ask how people can get hold of you. I'm just wondering, how do you define money? If an alien arrived on this planet, we're talking about this book, we've talked about money in different ways, making money. How would you define money to an alien who just landed on planet Earth?
Money definition.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say money is, I'm trying to get better words. Money is, like in layman's terms, it's something that you need to allow in your space. It's something that you need to notice that it's here to support you, right? It's a tool that needs you to allow it. It needs home, and you need to give it home, right? Mm-hmm. By being yourself, by allowing yourself to be yourself. Because really, I struggled with this for a very long time, because I grew up thinking that we need to dig and dig and dig and dig, and the more we dig, the more we wound ourselves, and the more we now don't come closer to this beautiful tool called money. So I would say that to a person, to say, you know what, money will come as long as we stay true to ourselves and follow that little voice, because it's through that voice, when we honor that voice, and then now we get guided steps to make money. But we were taught to focus on the end paper, the end result called money, and then we start to exhaust ourselves, unnecessarily, if I may put like that. So I would say money is that tool, but that needs you to allow it in your space by being yourself, and by being authentic and vulnerable. Because in order for us to heal, we need to be vulnerable. We need to open up to people who will allow us to be us. So yeah, I would say that. But because there's a whole lot of things that are happening around money, as I'm saying this, I feel like I'm saying it. Someone would say to me, you are saying it. This sounds so easy, and it's not like that, because we were told that money is, it's the thing. You need to work hard to do things that are not right, and be unethical, so that we think we need to go that. But once you become yourself, and you remember that, you know what, I have this tool, but in order for this tool to serve me, I need to be myself, and I need to be vulnerable, and I need to be authentic, and I need to allow it in my space. So I would say that. I would really say that.
I love it. I love that. Oh my God. So, Coach G, you have been a treasure and a pleasure. How do people get to work with you? How do people get to join the book club? How do people get to work with you? Where can people find you online to follow you?
Okay. Thanks for that question, V. And on my socials, meaning Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I go by Coach G Phalane, G-E-E Phalane. And then in terms of, okay, my numbers, you can find me on 082-926-9988. And I'm busy now with my website, Mindset Healing Academy. And in terms of registering for my book club, you're going to find the link there. And then you click on register for book club, and then it's going to direct you to my email. And then I send you an invoice, and then you join. My book club is $350 per month. It's a monthly program. Every month I teach different books. So if I have a big book like What's Your Many Personality, I divide it into two. But we have, it's a monthly program. And for one-on-one sessions as well, you go to my website and then you get a link where you click, and I get to send you an invoice. And I also have a book, Embrace Your Wounds and Realize Your Purpose. If you go to my website, www.mindsethealingacademy.co.za, you get everything there.
Oh, thank you. Just wanted to say 350 Rand, guys, not US dollars. And in dollars, you can do the math, and
yes,
G for all that information. Wow, thank you so much, Coach G. We're going to love you and leave you. Thank you for sharing your time and your wisdom with us. And Money Magicians, do get a hold of Coach G. She's incredible, as you hear. And you can check out What's Your Money Personality, Changing the Way Black Families Manage Their Finances at if you're in South Africa or Southern Africa, at your nearest exclusive books, Wordsworth, takealot.co.za, I think it is. And if you're abroad, USA, Canada, Australia, UK, New Zealand, other parts of Asia as well, you can go to your big bookstores and ask them to order What's Your Money Personality, or just check out Amazon. You can get it on Amazon or get the ebook on Google Play, Kindle, all the major ebook platforms. Oh, thank you so much, Coach G. And we'll see you guys, Money Magicians, in the next podcast episode.
Thank you, Vangile. Bye-bye.